Yeah, coming off the conference tournament, and it seems like that was 2 weeks ago. But it had a great tournament over in San Marcos, and I thought it was well put on and well ran by the Sun Belt. Totally went different. It didn't go to form. I thought we'd play Troy in the final game, and then we ended up playing Coastal Carolina twice. And so come out of there with 3 wins, though. One different way, won the championship 1-0. That was kind of a aberration of we haven't had many wins like that, and I thought that was really good for us going into postseason. And was really happy with the girls. I thought they got sharper each day, defensively and summer pitching. And then just to be able to win again on the road and then win in a tournament format on the road, I thought was a good preparation for the NCAA regional. Come back in, took a day off Sunday, let the girls kind of relax, had a crawfish boil, and just let them hang out around the ball field. Then we went to the Peach last night, had a great crowd, unbelievable, the fan base, and the way they participated in the seating announcement show. And the excitement was through the roof. I really was impressed by our fans and the fan base and the way they turned out at Peach. I never saw anything quite like that, and really appreciative of that. It made it fun for our girls and our coaches. And then we got the draw, and for the first time in 11 years, the draw was almost exactly what I thought it was going to be. I thought we'd go to Ole Miss, and I thought that we would play SEMO if we went there because it made sense for SEMO to go down there. I wasn't expecting them to be seeded at 11. I thought it might be a 12, 13, even a 14 seed. So I thought that was really good, for a good break for us where we're going to catch. We stayed outside the top 5 national seeds. We'll get a 6 seed. So I'm happy with it. I'm really happy with the draw. I'm happy with the way it went. Now obviously we have to. Ole Miss is a really good ball team. SEMO, Southeastern Missouri. Back home we call it SEMO, but Southeastern Missouri, school very close to my home town and where I grew up. And they're a very competitive ball team. They've got one of the best teams they've had in years. Coach Redburn's done a great job with that program. They're veterans, juniors, and seniors. They can really hit. They can really pitch. They're going to be a great first game opponent. And then Ole Miss is really exceeded all expectations this year. And Coach Smith is a very good coach, and he always gets his team to rally and play really well at playoff time and tournament time. So we've got a really 2 tough opponents right in front of us. If we get to UT Chattanooga, also another really good team. Coach Frank does a great job over there. So we're going to have to play our best ball of the year, but you got to like the road that we have. I got to schedule better next year, and I've got to make some adjustments. And you have a very fine window, very minimal room for error because you have basically, you have your out-of-conference opponents, and obviously you don't want to schedule 25 top 25 teams. So, I thought I had 10 games on the schedule that would be top 25, and those teams, 7 games was Baylor, Oregon State, and California. I thought those teams all had a chance to be top 25. I would have thought that 5 of those 7 games in the year would have been top 25, and they didn't. They were all outside the top 25, outside the top 50 in the case of Oregon State and California. And then we had Oklahoma 2 games, and we only got 1 in. And that turned out to be the wrong. It's like buying stock in the wrong business. I bought stock in the wrong schools this year. But I'd do it again because Coach Neinmeier's a great coach, done a great job at Cal, and Coach Glenn Moore is a great coach at Baylor, and that's a good program. Things didn't go right with our schedule. I think the things I can learn from that is, maybe instead of 10 games, try to get 15. I tried to get games with several of the SEC schools. Everything last year was on late notice. I got here in the middle of the winter. There was a lot of reasons why our schedule wasn't what it should be. But the important part going forward is to be sure we got, 14 games against teams that we think will be in the top 25 next year. And then we need 1 or 2 Sun Belt teams to be in that top 50 at a minimum. And hopefully we have at least one more. Like last year we had Texas State in the top 30. at times in top 25. They were in the top 25 of polls in the year, and I think they were 30 31 in the RPI, 2 seed at UCLA. And so we had 5 games there in the conference. This year we got nothing. We had no top 50 teams in our conference. We had no top 25 in the polls or anything. So we need the Sun Belt to step up, and we need it to get stronger. And, I don't know if we can count on that next year. So I think it's really important that we go outside our conference and try to schedule 4 to 8 more really good opponents.
Having said that, you sound like you're pretty satisfied that you're going to Ole Miss.
Very satisfied with our draw. I'm very comfortable with it. As a coach or a player, I think there's certain places you're really comfortable, and Ole Miss has always been a place where I've always looked forward to going. My teams have always played well. We've always hit well in that environment. It's a friendly place. I just like being on that field. We got beat in a championship game of the SEC tournament there one year, I believe, against Alabama. But we made a run, got the championship game, and then I don't remember losing a game to Ole Miss ever at home or on the road when I was in the SEC as a hitting coach. So I'm comfortable. I like playing Ole Miss. I think it's a really good opportunity for our girls.
You've seen that piece. Players seen that piece last night with everything. But behind closed doors, is this bulletin board material? Is this the chip on the shoulder to get these girls going?
No, I don't think that the bulletin board material is Oklahoma City. I mean, nothing's bigger than the opportunity to go to Oklahoma City, and you shouldn't need anything else to be motivated by except the opportunity to get your girls on that field in front of 10,000 people in Oklahoma City. And I know it's a thrill for me as a coach, and for the girls, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. We got seniors on this club. It's their last chance to get back to Oklahoma City or to get to Oklahoma City, and that's all the motivation we should need.
Obviously, you guys are focused on the postseason. Just reflecting for a moment, what does this Main Street mean to you guys?
It means nothing. The win streak means nothing right now, and it's one game at a time. Success is only today, and whatever you do today, it's gone tomorrow. And so, success doesn't carry forward. Having a winning streak doesn't do anything for you. It's just we need to win. We need to get in a position to play our best ball. In fact, we don't need to think about winning. We need to think about the process of just having great practices this week. Feel like we're prepared when we walk on the field. Feel like that, we're emotionally and physically ready to play at a high level.
Coach, what are you guys going to really work on, speaking about practice this week, that maybe you saw from this past weekend that you can take into practice this week and work on?
We'll look at our opponents this week, and the one thing we know we're playing SEMO, and I think it's a pretty good bet that we're going to see either Rook or number 15. My name's going blank. I've just been watching film for an hour. But anyway, we know the 2 pitchers we're going to face. One's a senior, one's a junior. And we'll watch film on them. Well, I've been charting pitches. We'll try to find out the tendencies, where they work, where they go back and forth across the plate, up and down, how much they use the changeup. Try to get as much information as we can on those and be real familiar with. And then obviously you'll be prepared for Ole Miss in the eventuality that we get to play them in the championship, which is what we hope to do. But you can't overlook Southeastern Missouri because they're a very good ball club. And so that's the one thing. It's a little bit more predictable in a 4-team tournament than an 8-team tournament. Last week we were heavy on Troy. Everything was about getting ready for Troy all week, and then we never saw Troy. So, and that may have hurt our hitters a little bit as the week went on, but, we figured out a way to win, and that's what our goal will be this week, to try to figure out another way to win. No, I don't think the girls probably even know how many games we won in a row. I don't know how many we won in a row. It's just I'll read it and then like, wow, that's a lot. But other than when I read it, I don't. You can't allow yourself to get caught up in what happened yesterday. And I know our girls, they're excited about getting here, and getting to work, and we had a great practice this morning, and we'll have enthusiasm. We're watching film at 1:30, and then we'll be out on the field hitting. From 2:30 till probably 6, and the kids are good. The kids are excited about the opportunity in front of them. I think that the successful season they've had and the win streaks and all that, what it has done, it's given them a lot of confidence. They believe they can win. They believe they can compete with anybody, and so I think that in that sense, it's been a really good. The positive thoughts of and the positive things that happened to our program. We're in a really good place right now.
Can you explain what is the actual rule if the number 1 seeds don't win the regional for who hosts?
The way I understand it, if the number 1 seed doesn't win, so say we're matched up 6-11, Ole Miss is matched up with Arizona. If Arizona doesn't win and if Ole Miss doesn't win, the highest national seed would then host. And I don't know I don't know whether that would be Auburn or us or whoever else. I assume that the committee would announce it at that point afterwards. I guess the committee would know.
So they do rank more than 1 through 16. They just keep 17 through 64 secret.
I don't know that they announced that on the national. You would assume that a 2 seed at 11 regional would be a higher national seed than a 2 seed at a 6 regional. But because 6 should be with 27, and the 2 seed at 11 should be with 21, 22. So, but I really don't know that, and I'll leave that. I need to get my team ready to hit SEMO, and so I'll let the committee figure it out.
But do bids play a part in any of it, or is that enough?
The way I understand it, if you didn't put in a bid to host a regional, then you wouldn't have any opportunity to host a super. But I would assume Auburn put in a bid, we put in a bid. I would think everybody put in a bid.
Just with how you guys won the tournament, like you said, having to come from behind and having the pitchers duel, anything you want to change this summer in terms of how teams are going to attack or what you want to adjust this week? Or is it like you kind of get really, this is how opposing teams are going to attack you now that you kind of have more information?
I'd make her a freshman if I could change something about summer. Other than that, no. I just lucky to have summer.
Go back to you talking about how the uncertainty of who you're going to play in the next game. Do you find that preparing for this regional to be harder on the players or the coaches?
Ooh, that's a good question. It's not hard on a coach. It's exciting for a coach. I went home from the regional meeting last night, and I was up till I don't even know what time I went to bed, but it was late, and probably 2 or 3 a.m. And then my alarm clock, I set it for 6, 6:15, and 6:30. I set 3 alarms, and I was up at 5:40. So these are exciting times for a coach, and you live all year for this week, and it'll be at my house. It'll be a week of just watching film and trying to learn every single thing I can about Southeastern Missouri and Ole Miss, and then the excitement of everything that goes into this week is what you play ball for.
When I described you as a kid in a candy store tonight, what kind of candy are you buying?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Babe Ruth, we need to hit the ball farther.
Speaking of that, are you worried about the number of hits y'all got in San Marcos, or do you think the practice sessions over the next 3 days will take care of that?
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't worried. I wasn't happy at all. I mean, we won the game 1-0, and the hitting coach in me was like, my wife walked up and said, "Hey, act happy," because I was so mad about the 1 run. I was dwelling on the negative is the way I guess you should say that. And I wasn't happy about 1 run. I wanted to win that game. In my vision before the game, I thought we'd get out, score a run. We did score a run the first inning, and at that point, I thought we was going to score 4, 5, 6 runs at a minimum. And then we just laid down and didn't get the job done offensively. And that really bothers me. If I'm really honest about it, it really bothers me. And as far as how does that affect us this week, I don't know if it affects us at all. We've scored runs all year. I looked this morning. I did look that up. Since April 1st, we've averaged about 6 runs a game. Before April 1st, we was probably averaging 8 runs a game. So, we've got to put together a better offensive effort. As far as whether that's continuous, I don't know. I think there's some things going in that here the last of the season where the kids, I think they felt pressure of finishing the Sun Belt undefeated. I think that they, began to play a little bit different. playing with some expectations instead of just playing loose and free and hungry. And that's just natural. Ball clubs are going to do that. But I think that might have something to do with the hitting. And if I'm right about that, that should go away as the regional starts.
Would you like it more that every SEC team for the winning record goes to the tournament when you were in the SEC as opposed to when you're not?
Yeah, that's a tricky one because like Texas A&M, I'm sure it should have been tough for the committee, but they had their 4 wins with Georgia, LSU, Florida, Alabama. Those are good wins. Now, the other side of it is they had 24. They had 12 against those 4 schools. They had 12 chances, and then they get 24 SEC games. So it all depends how you look at that. When you're in the SEC, those are brutal. Those 24 games are brutal. And that's a brutal schedule. And you get down, and you lose 3 games one weekend. It's really hard to snap back the next week. And you're a veteran. You're a tested ball club. And then I guess you can look at that from the mid-major side, and you say, man, if a school can't if they finish 13th out of 13, why give them a shot? Why not give San Jose State a shot? Or why not give some school that it's maybe their best team they've had in a decade that experience? And so, I think for me, it didn't bother me any more, any less then. It doesn't bother me any more, any less now. I think A&M is deserving in the sense that they did their job. When they won the series 2 out of 3 against Arkansas, I said A&M's in. They're in because Arkansas is a top 25 team. And then when they won 1 game the last weekend was at Tennessee. They won game 3 against Tennessee. Yep, they're for sure in. I thought they would be in because of that, knowing that the SEC, if you win you get those chances against the top 10 teams like Florida and Alabama, and they won. So when you get that chance and you get it done, I thought they would get in. I really did.
Is there any justification for James Madison not only not hosting but getting stuck in the UCLA?
I haven't studied James Madison enough to know that for the committee. I will say this. I expected James Madison, based on what people were telling me about the RPI, and I thought they had met the criteria to be a host, and I expected them to be a 16 seed, maybe even a 15 seed. I thought they would get the national seed if we didn't. I thought we would get the national seed if the committee looked at softball and knew softball and said, let's pick out the best 16 teams in the country. Then I thought we would get a host. And that was on my mind that we might get a host. But I knew that if they did what the committee has done the last few years and they defer to a lot of formulas and computers, and, if you look at RPI, it tells you that our team this year is a worse team than last year. Well, anybody seen that and anybody knows anything about softball knows this team's in another hemisphere from last year. But the computer says we're worse. By that formula, and if they use that formula, it is what it is. And I don't know exactly how they got James Madison where they did. I'd have to have been in the room, I guess. But I was surprised by that.
You mentioned obviously about the different opponents you might possibly play, but what's the hardest part about just not knowing you're going to play from game to game and just navigating through this whole league?
Yeah, I mean, you got to be ready to play. There's 4 teams, so you better be ready to play all 3. And I think you prioritize what you have to do to get through the regional. And so I think you prioritize game 1. You're playing Southeastern Missouri. And then I think the second step, you prioritize the second most likely thing, and that's to play Ole Miss if you get by SEMO. And then, then you prepare for your third most likely thing, and that is that you could lose game 1 and you're going to have to face UT Chattanooga, which happened to us last year where we lost and played Fordham. And so that's not right. Yeah, it is right. We lost and we played Fordham under game 1 on Saturday. So if we get to UT Chattanooga, we'll have a scouting report. I won't spend hours on it like I will the Southeastern Missouri, but I will be. I'll know everything about their ball club that I can learn in a matter of 3 or 4 hours. No, you can't. I'm not going to criticize the committee because they got a hard job, and I'm sure you'd like to think that that it's some really sharp and really softball knowledgeable people. The people I've known on the committee over the years, Craig White at Georgia was on the committee, David Batson at Texas A&M was on the committee. They worked hard at it, and they put a lot of time and a lot of hours in it. And of course, there's dynamics in that room. So I prefer to you just give them great respect and tell them thank you for doing what they did. And I know they probably tried to do the best they could do. It's a tricky job, and I'm satisfied with where we're at. I'm happy. Just give us a chance to win.